rightness, because rightness is always universal. Or rightness, you know, for example, if someone treats you maliciously, you treat someone, you know, repay not by kindness alone, by justice, by rightness. You repay kindness with kindness. You don't repay kindness with, repay maliciousness with kindness alone. These are very, very, you really have to think. You have to think in what sense we'll be able to formulate our ethical intelligence in order to deal with the situation. Just assuming we are all relativists. You do your own thing, I do mine. And it's your choice. I'm not going to interfere with your choice. There are limits, important limits. If your choice turns out to be a negative example, not necessarily you've done something wrong, negative example for everybody. And that choice, at least I feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I criticize. If that choice turned out to be harmful for others, I don't simply accept that kind of choice. So you respect someone's choice, you respect people's taste. You go to a Chinese restaurant, you order food. You don't say, this is the best, don't order other food. You're in terms of taste. The choice now, you know, especially as we advanced into a very complicated society, the choices are greatly enhanced. There's so many choices in terms of your career, in terms of what clubs you're going to join, and what kind of, you know, what kind of styles of life, what kind of music, what kind of entertainment. All these things are open to us for choices. And many people now, you know, especially postmodernists, believe that hybridity is a remarkable thing for us. In other words, in a world without wars, without boundaries, without strictly conceived or narrowly conceived identity, this world is much freer. The world is more congenial for human flourishing.
So,
yes.
I have a question about terrorism.
Yep.
What if the terrorists frame their aggressiveness as a kind of response or revenge,
Right.
like American
Sure.
terrorism or
Right.
intrusion of their belief?
Right.
Can we say this kind of revenge is a sense of justice? Which
Well, you know, for one thing, if you want to ask, I've done it. I have enough empirical knowledge about it. You want to find one value that is underscored time and time again is in the Islamic world, it's justice. We've been wrong for so long, and it's time for us to respond. The real clash of civilization, you know, is within the Islamic world. Overwhelming majority of Muslims are moderate, are peaceful. Only a very small or tiny group of people who are totally radicalized, you can say they are brainwashed, but no matter how you try to describe it. But why this larger society allow this to exist? In all, not major efforts to try to get rid of precisely your question. They all have some really sense of injustice to the West. And even 9/11, you know, that happened. And the overwhelming majority of the people, including Muslims, felt it's awful, but not universal. There are different opinions. Later, of course, America decided to be aggressive, and to attack, for example, Iraq and so forth. That even Europeans, you know, French, German, became very, very unhappy with what actually happened. America, you know, the superpower. Then they forgot about 1911 and considered that a warning, a lesson that the United States, especially the leadership in Washington, didn't learn well to shape a different kind of policy. What kind of policy they were interested in? Basically, a dialogical relationship. In other words, the time is right for America to rise above simply self-interest and try to get in touch with all kinds of other societies and try to understand and those so-called perceived enemies. As a result, what happened was homeland security, which is absolutely critical. And we've been threatened for the first time in American history. So we need to develop homeland security. So another value, which is totally justified, is security. But security, if it reaches certain kind of extreme, can be dangerous. Not can be dangerous, can be negative. And not just inconvenience, that's all right, we accept it. And that's true with China. You know, original China was involved in this great Olympics, really wanted to use it as an example of China's emergence as not only a powerful not only economic power or political power, but a kind of cultural power to present to the world and the best. So they define this Olympic in terms